Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of DigPINS. And we're going to be talking about equity, inclusion, and agency. I'm Mahabedi from the American University in Cairo. And with me are Joe and Taylor. I'm just going to explain very quickly sort of what we have in store for you for this week. The first thing we're thinking about is that people are coming at this maybe from different angles and have different levels of knowledge and experience with terms like equity, inclusion, and so on. And they have different contexts. So we've got a very short video, Four Eyes of Oppression. It takes about 3 minutes to watch. If you're not familiar with these, this is a really good intro to the different levels of oppression that can happen. And there's also this tweet by Daniel Wickner on the different terms like diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, and how they show fairness in different ways. And I found that one like really useful to just sort of as an intro. But if you're someone who's been working with these terms for a long time and you're interested to go into like problematizing and unpacking them, there's a blog post and a podcast episode by me. And the reason we're giving you all these different options is a kind of way of doing equity and what's called universal design for learning, which is giving participants and learners choices. Do you want to listen to something? Do you want to read something? Do you want something at the intro level like that short video, or do you want something more advanced like that blog post or that podcast? So this is one way of us sort of modeling for you what that might look like. And you also have choices of what you want to do for the week. So there are different activities. You don't have to do all of them. If you're the kind of person who likes synchronous sessions that are interactive, we have one that is going to use liberating structures. These are ways of trying to promote equitable conversations, but we also want you to be critical of how Zoom as a platform reproduces inequality as well. So if you have time to read Autumn Kane's Zoom Gaze article, that would help you prepare for that session, but you don't have to if you don't have time. Just there are 2 different times available on Tuesday, June 15th and Wednesday, June 16th. Just register for the one that works for you. Or if you can't make the synchronous sessions or you're not into that kind of thing, we're going to have some Twitter going on, and maybe Joe can talk to you a little bit about how that Twitter slow chat is going to work. Or you can write a blog post, and you can write about whatever you like. Obviously, you can write before or after the synchronous session if you wanted to reflect on the synchronous session, for example. And we're suggesting like maybe taking a look at my Rumi cheese analogy. So Egyptians will know what Rumi cheese is, but everyone else can discover after they read the blog post. And you can make up your own. And so there's more about this on the blog post and a lovely article by Joe on universal design for teaching. So Joe, is it okay if I hand over to you to talk about the Twitter slow chat and the universal design for teaching?
Sure. So in the slow chat, what we'll be doing is trying to get a conversation going that's not based on be available in this specific hour. One of the neat things about Twitter, much like Slack, is that we can have these conversations that are more that are a little stretched out. And you can take a little bit more time maybe to think. There are certainly some people on Twitter, myself included sometimes, who should take a little more time to think. So hopefully this is an opportunity for you. And what we'll be doing is just every day, Monday through Friday, we'll be posting a prompt, just a question, talk about this as we think about equity, inclusion, and justice in online spaces. And we'll just be posting those as prompts and asking you to respond to them, asking our networks of folks to respond to them, and hopefully having some interesting conversations with one another as that goes through. So there's a space where we can kind of explore those ideas together. If for anything that we talk about, Twitter doesn't feel like the right space to do it, you don't have to drop out. You can come over and say it in Slack. If that's why we're doing the multiple platforms. But we do want, we're using Twitter because we want you to have that experience, and we want you to think about how this can work in your professional or academic scenarios. And I guess I'm going to say that's the segue into the piece that I wrote, really because we were having a conversation in this group about how we deal with accessibility issues for DigPINS. And it occurred to me that we care a lot about accessibility for our students and making sure that our students have equal access to our courses. I'm not sure higher education does a good job of making sure that its institutions are accessible for faculty and staff. And the one interesting piece of feedback I got on Twitter is I wish I'd called this universal design for running a college, because the distinction between teaching and learning is already jargony. But at any rate, that's what the piece is about. It's about really asking, are our meetings accessible? Are our spaces, physical and virtual, accessible? Are our practices and policies actually equitable to all the different scenarios that people are in? And that's what that's about. And I would welcome your thoughts and your comments on it. So Taylor, what are you looking forward to this week?
So Meha already kind of touched on it a little bit, but the sync session I'm particularly looking forward to for this week. Mostly is in addition to the content, I love anytime we can demonstrate the use of liberating structures activities in DigPINS. I think, and it's linked on the content page. You should look at it. But there's a page that kind of lets you kind of pick from a menu of activities that are reusable, recomposable, changeable, fixable in whatever way you like. And I think brainstorming how to create interesting discussions and conversation spaces in a classroom can be helped a lot by looking at those resources and utilizing some of them in your classroom. So I'd really encourage you to think about that in the context of the sync session as if you're participating in that. And if not, or in addition to, just go check out the Equity Unbound page on that we have linked in the description. It's definitely worth looking at.
All right. Thank you, Taylor and Joe. And we are looking forward to either seeing you in Zoom or on Twitter or on Slack or on your blog, inshallah, this week. Have a good day.